Is no restart.
Big move in Bitcoin then, in contrast to all the notes I wrote pre-show, which were telling me that this was going to put Bitcoin under pressure. What's
the narrative that perhaps this launch of these political meme coins will sap flows from Bitcoin is showing us that it's really not the case this morning. If anything, it's just accelerated the momentum and the excitement around cryptocurrency under another Trump administration.
Hi, Dewald. What is all this FOMO about? Should I buy Bitcoin now?
Are you smoking your socks? You should rather watch my show. You should rather watch my show.
What is up, legends? And it seems that my voice is just getting worse, so I will carry on until my voice gives in completely, right? I feel perfectly fine. I don't feel sick, but my voice is just disappearing for some reason. Welcome to the live stream. Let's do some technical analysis here on the price of Bitcoin, and oh my word, what a fake out. What a fake out. Right, but the trades that we highlighted yesterday played out to perfection, because I hammered on where we need to short and where we need to take profits. And if you paid attention in class, you would have profits in the bag. Okay, I'm not sure if anyone managed to catch that little tippy top with all this momentum here to the downside, because it looks like it does want to continue, and we will go and analyze, well, you know, what are the high probability scenarios now that we had to fake out? Because this does not look good for crypto at the moment. Usually when I spot me a fake out, okay, usually what happens is you come and take the low. Right, unless, as per the thumbnail and the title, unless we can see some magic here at the moment, right? So let's see if that scenario is going to play out. But legends, remember to smash up that like button. If you're not already subscribed, make sure that you hit that subscribe and switch on the bell notifications to get notified when I go live. Hopefully next time when I go live, my voice will be back to normal. Right, legends, let me say hi to the community and we can dive right in. Talma, always great to see you here on the live stream. Hello, welcome, Mr. Fast. Hello, Dewald. Welcome to the live stream. Hi, bro. Did you smoke some socks today? Maybe I did. Right, some stinky socks. BTC closed hourly candle below the trend lines. Bearish. Yes, that is exactly what I highlighted yesterday. Hemra, right? When you get a fake out and you start closing some high time frame candles below the trend, is not looking good for the bulls at the moment. And this little move here to the downside does look impulsive. It reminds me of these little moves. It reminds me of that little move. It reminds me of, you know, you climb the stairs to the upside and you jump out the window. Climb the stairs, jump out the window. Stairs, out the window, right? This was also an aggressive move here to the downside, right? And I think what made this move so significant for me is, and it's something that I want to discuss today, but I'll get there in a moment. Let me just finish up here. Can I buy Bitcoin now? Well, DCA is always a good strategy, right? If you take some money from your 9 to 5 and you buy a little bit of Bitcoin, specifically when it's full moon, okay, you can benefit from the returns. And go and check out my tutorial on the full moon if you haven't done so already. Let me just go back here and show everyone what I mean. If you go onto my YouTube page, under tutorials, let me just zoom out here. Right, I have a video here. Can you guys see? Do this with a little moon there in the background. It is very powerful. One of the best strategies is DCA. And DCA, someone asked me the other day, Dewald, what do you mean by DCA? Dollar cost average. It basically means every month you take a little bit of money and you buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe one or two of your favorite altcoins. That's what DCA basically means. Okay. But if you go and if you go check out this video under tutorials, you'll understand why buying at the right time of the month could maximize your returns. Little trick in there. Go check it out. Right, legends, also remember, links for the exchanges that I use are always down in the description, where I organize you guys the best deals and sign-up bonuses that the exchanges have to offer, right? So it costs you nothing extra. In fact, you just benefit by trading with the links from the exchanges that I have here down in the description. 50% cash back on the money that you deposit into your features account on weeks, 0% maker fee, and 25% discount on your taker fee. They also have the competition running, and I am not sure if I'm in any trades at the moment. Let me check. Oh, no trades in the moment, but I'm waiting for the high probable bouncing areas, which I'll discuss in a second, right? I'm still trading here on weeks, and then bluffing, right? The more, every time you move $10,000 worth of volume, you get a chance to spin the wheel. You win Doge, AirPods Pro, MacBook Pro, right? Some amazing prizes up for grab. And Femex, up to $2,000 airdrop position when you sign up with this exchange. And all of these three, all you need is an email and a password, and you can start trading, right? No documents. If you don't want to share anything, you can do some nice features trading on here. Okay, legends, now where can I have liked to be over here, right? Is there any way for you to turn closed captions on for your live videos each time? I watch sometimes when I'm on work call, so I can't listen, but it could read and follow along, right? I will see if I can do some research on that. I'm not sure how to do that, but I do know that YouTube has an automatic caption feature, so if you switch it on, it shows you the words on the screen. So I will go do some research. Good suggestion. Thanks, Mr. Max. Price action is so crazy, I accidentally smoked my underwear. Right, SGS, kids, don't smoke your sock, it's bad for your voice. You've heard it here on the live stream. Mr. SGS, don't point out my mistakes to everyone. Okay, right, legends. The one thing I just want to make everyone aware of, if I go here onto the 15-minute time frame, usually with aggressive momentum to the downside, like what happened here. Okay, do you guys remember this little drop here? Aggressive drop to the downside. This little drop, okay, I was looking for shorts during this entire drop, and it was so difficult to get into shorts because it was so aggressive to the downside. And every single time, okay, if you take a fib from the high to the low, where did we reject? 0.236. I was waiting for that 382 50% tap, nice little consolidation area, and then get the drop to the downside. And we retraced very shallow. Every single fib retracement retraced at the 0.236. Very shallow retracements. Also from this high to the low, at least we hit the 50% there, but at least you guys can see here, okay, every single one, 2.36, okay, even this one, 2.36, okay, very shallow retracements. And the reason I'm showing everyone here this is that now we have another aggressive drop here to the downside. And there's very specific levels to the upside that really looks juicy from a shorting perspective. But I can't help but wonder, if I take a fib now here again from the high to the low, you can see where price is struggling at the moment is the 2.36. Okay, because a little bit further up, we actually do have some nice confluence with these levels. If I switch on my point of controls, my daily levels, my weekly levels, okay, now this is where it becomes sexy to the upside, and these are definitely levels that I will be keeping an eye on. Okay, is that the 2.36, okay, is literally standing all by its lonesome over here, and you can see it's where price is struggling at the moment. You have a massive drop to the downside, And price just does not want to pierce this level, which means that it can continue momentum to the downside like it did with this previous structure that I've just shown everyone. Okay, but if price by some miracle can find some upwards momentum here, right, from a shorting perspective, and I'm specifically talking about shorts because we got acceptance back below the trend. This was a fake out. Okay, this looks very aggressive to the downside, which aka impulse maybe to the downside. This looks very corrective at the moment. So if we come and tap this little consolidation box at the 0.382 together with a naked point of control, okay, I will definitely be looking for a short in this zone. A little bit further up, we also have the 50% Fibonacci with a daily level. Okay, and then here by the 0.618 is the weekly level that we've lost. And usually what happens is sometimes price falls, it gets acceptance back inside the trend, and it goes and it retests the scene of the crime, the trend that it has lost. Okay, so what could happen is price could retest the scene of the crime, it makes a lower high and continues momentum to the downside. Right, but it could also just fall from where it is right now, based on the previous structure that I've shown you. Momentum to the downside tends to be a lot more aggressive with very shallow retracements and just continue to the downside. Okay, so legends, now I've basically highlighted the best areas to the upside. For me is this zone, the 50% together with the daily and the 618. Okay. These are key levels that I will be paying attention to for potential short. Each level aligns with a Fibonacci level and another level of confluence. So definitely areas that you need to pay attention to if price can find its way up there, because it could literally just tank. There is, okay, a naked point of control that has ever so slightly been front-run. Ever so slightly. Okay, so let me take the FIB here out the way, and you can see that price missed this area by a couple of dollars, right? So if price comes down here and it gets acceptance back above double bottom, I will consider a long. And then I will still be looking at these areas for potential shorts to the upside. The momentum looks aggressive to the downside, so there's a high chance that it's in your best interest to start looking for shorts, right? Until the trend changes, and it has not changed. It almost changed, because yesterday during my live stream, legends, you all remember, if I go back here onto the 15-minute time frame, I said for that ABC wave to the upside, okay, let me just clean up the chart. And let's go to the 1 hour and look at this entire structure. For an ABC, do I still have it here? Let me just check here quickly. That was the diagonal, and then we have it was right. It was this one, legends. Let me just go and redo it over here. A, B, C. For that scenario to have played out, I made it very clear on the live stream yesterday, you have to take the high. And we didn't. We front-run it literally by a couple of dollars, $100 or $200, right? We front-run the high. So officially, regardless of how high this high went, we made a lower high. You have lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. So the downwards momentum is still intact here on the 4-hour, 1-hour time frame. Okay, this C wave would have carried much higher probability if we claimed the high. Then what would most probably happen is, even if you come back for retest, that presents a buying opportunity for continuation. Okay, but we did not. We failed to claim the high. So we officially, technically, still have a lower high. Okay, so, right, legends, this scenario is now no more, right? We got the rejection here to the downside, and it doesn't look pretty at the moment. Now, when I look at the structure, okay, let's talk, without getting too bearish, let's talk about the scenario that could potentially still save Bitcoin, Okay, that's the unless scenario that I've highlighted in the title. Are we still going to find downwards momentum, which now carries the highest probability unless, okay, unless this is still the 5-wave structure. We still have a bullish structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but this is a larger, okay, at W, which I told everyone I like the most because of the C wave, A, B, C to the downside, which forms a W. This monstrosity and confusing structure here to the upside with constant overlaps, which we did successfully trade, by the way, okay, could be an X wave. Okay, and because there's a rule in Elliot wave theory that states, and this is the only bullish case scenario that I have at the moment, and unfortunately it does not carry the highest probability. We need more price action before I can give the scenario a higher probability. Okay, when you take a fib, this is the rule in Elliot wave theory, from the high of 5 to the low over here. Okay, you have to take it from this low because this is where W ended. So let me draw out the structure over here. If this is a W, and this, all of this structure here to the upside, complex corrective structure in an X, okay, and now we're forming a Y wave. Because the X wave went so high, it usually states in Elliot wave theory, if your X wave taps the 786, it reduces the probability of the Y wave taking the lows. Which means that if your X wave go this high, you are looking at a longer sideways corrective structure that then breaks out without taking the lows. Okay, like I'm saying, legends, the scenario doesn't carry high probability, but it is still a scenario. Okay, so the most obvious scenario is, and the pro community members will know exactly what I'm talking about, is that you form a triangle inside of your Y wave that does not take the low. So this can now be your A. You now look for a B, a C, a D, and an E, and you break out. So you form a triangle. That is the only bullish case scenario that we have left. And as you can see, based on what I've just drawn here on the screen, we need a lot more price action. So basically, if price keeps on going sideways and it does not break out and it does not take the low, and once we have a B and a C and we have a D, once we get over here, I'm going to say now the scenario carries higher probability. We failed to claim the lows and we are still failing to break out, but price is just chopping sideways for some reason. So it's basically building a flag, a diagonal, contracting diagonal, and then it pops out. Okay, so this is the only bullish case scenario that I can currently see here on the price of Bitcoin, is a WXY, and it's still, after an impulse, it's still a 3-wave corrective structure that breaks out. Okay, so that is the juicy detail that I wanted to share over here, is to say that, well, there's a chance for the bulls, a slight chance for the bulls, that we have formed an A, B, C, and this is all part of an X wave to the upside. Okay, and you can actually count a 3-wave structure here as well. Right, legends, the scenario doesn't carry high probability, but I mean, this structure here to the upside can be counted in hindsight as a beautiful 3-wave structure. I'm looking at this structure as a 3-wave structure. And when I measure it to say, well, can it be a 3-wave structure? I take a fib from the low to this high to the low, and you can see where price got the rejection is exactly at the 1-to-1 extension. Well, not exactly, but it got the rejection at the 1-to-1 extension. So this structure can be counted as a 3-wave structure. So it could be an X wave, but it could also be a B wave. Okay, now here's now the difference. If this is a B wave, okay, this is now how the scenario changes. Right, and then we can go into some scalping opportunities here in a moment, right, legends? But I have highlighted the levels to the upside and the SFP from the bottom over here. So if price falls down and I see price action trading above, my stop goes below the low, I enter along, and as soon as you start hitting resistance, I will take profits from that little trade. So just want to highlight that in case it plays out while I'm doing some larger time frame technical analysis. Okay, so legends, now if I take the WXY out and I again look at the structure, okay, let me just leave this fib here for now. Let me leave the fib for now. Okay, this could still be, I'm trying to give, legends, I'm really trying to give the bulls the benefit of the doubt over here. And then I'm going to show you the bearish case scenario where we could potentially tumble down to, okay? I'm giving the bulls the benefit of the doubt because what if this is still the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? It's a bullish structure where you want to form a higher low and continue back to the upside. Okay, and then there's a corrective structure that's a little bit more bearish, but you could still protect the low at $76,000. And that is a simple A, B, flat. Okay, and now we're creating a C wave to the downside. Okay. So this scenario also to me looks very interesting because remember here on the channel, I always say that when you have an A, B that claims the high, that is referred to as a B flat. But B flat target actually starts at the 0.9 Fibonacci. So if I zoom in here, you guys can see that I have the 0.9 Fibonacci over here. As soon as you tap the 0.9 Fibonacci, it qualifies as a B flat. That's already a B flat. Okay, it doesn't necessarily have to take the high. As long as it taps the 0.9, you can classify it as a B flat. That's a B flat target. Okay, but you can see we did not claim the high. Almost, okay, we stopped right over here, but we did tap a B flat target. Usually, now I go back into the structure. Okay, now that I know that we have a B flat target, it opens the door to a C flat, and a C flat basically means it takes the low. Okay. Right. And I could also go and measure this target, right? I'm going slow, so I don't want to lose anyone while I'm doing the technical analysis over here. Okay. So for the bulls, I can measure this target. You take your trend-based fib from the high to the low to the high that we've created. Now I have C wave targets. Okay, I have the 1-to-1 extension, very common C wave target. It literally just claims the lows and it bounces back up. And that could be an A, B, C flat that then breaks the trend to the upside. So I'm really trying to give the bulls the benefit of the doubt. And what I'm trying to determine over here is, what if all of this that is forming here is still part of a corrective structure for this impulse, where the low is still protected? So I'm really trying to give the bulls the benefit of the doubt. There's so much fear in the market, everyone is expecting lower momentum. But I will discuss those bearish case scenarios and how low we could potentially fall here to the downside. Okay. So for the bulls, there's a chance that you find acceptance at the 1-to-1 extension. But we all know a C wave target is also the 1.236. So for the bulls, this is where you have to find support. Okay. If I take then a fib from this low to this high to see, well, where does it align from a Fibonacci perspective, you can see, let me drag this a little bit, and this is now where it becomes very interesting. Okay, if I take the scribble here out the way, and now I have all of my targets, my C wave targets and my fib retracement targets. Okay, remember always what I preach here on the channel is when you have an impulse to the upside, and this is now forming your wave 1. Okay, you now are busy with a wave 2 and you want to see an explosive third wave to the upside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're now looking for this wave, and we are now busy with the second wave over here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. This is what we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in your wave 1. So there's a chance for a third wave. Okay, this is the benefit of the doubt that I'm trying to give the bulls over here. Okay, and this is now where it becomes very interesting, is because, look at this, the 1-to-1 extension lines up perfectly with the 0.618, which has already been tapped, but I actually need to switch on my 0.66. Where's my, right, let me just do this. There we go, the golden pocket. Okay, the bottom of the golden pocket has not been tapped just as yet, right? So the C wave could still bounce at the golden pocket at the 1-to-1 extension. Because you have a B flat, you have now increased the probabilities of taking the low of A. So this is a place where the bulls can still find support. Maximum second wave target is at the 786 together with the 1.236. Look at how perfect these levels line up. Okay, so if this is going to form a 1, 2, this is where the bulls have to find support, because this is considered your maximum second wave target to get an explosive third wave out of the structure. Okay, so it's going to be this one or it's going to be this one for the bulls. If the bulls lose this level, can you guys see where the 1.618 is? Okay, this is now where I'm starting to switch now a little bit more bearish. If the bulls cannot find support maximum at $79,000, 227. This is the last line in the sand for the bulls. Okay, for this structure to remain bullish and to get a third explosive wave to the upside, you have to find support at $79,000, 200. Let's just call it $79,000, 200. Okay, let's round it up. Okay, and now, legends, unfortunately, when I measure the C wave targets from the high to the low to the high, this is my fib extension. You do get C waves that go to the 1.618, but then you are going to take the low and invalidate the bullish structure. And this is now where it becomes a little bit more bearish. So there is a chance that you invalidate the bullish structure and you bounce here perfectly on another trend that I have together with the 1.618, and then we start building a fresh impulse to the upside. You basically do this again, or you create an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or it's going to be another contracting diagonal. But basically, if you tap the 1.618, you invalidate this bullish structure, but it is still a bouncing zone. It is still a C wave target. And what makes that level so interesting, okay, and I think most people would like to see this one. Well, me specifically also would like to see this one, because when I start zooming out here onto the 8-hour time frame, let me just clean up the chart ever so slightly. Let's switch this off, just clean it up ever so slightly. I want to show everyone where I get that trend from. Okay, it is basically connecting the all-time low, right, at $48,700, give or take, with this little pivot over here. So I'm connecting this momentum here to the upside. We have not tapped this trend just as yet. I used to have a trend even with this momentum. Let me just take the brushes out. Okay, you take a trend from that pivot to this pivot, and that one we actually tapped to perfection. Was it this? I think I might be on the wrong. Okay, it was on the log. I want to see something. Yes, it was on the log scale. Okay, let me just stick here to the regular. Okay, this is the trend that we lost. Let me just put it that way. Okay, there used to be a trend here as well, and we've lost it. Right, we got some upwards momentum, but we still created a lower high. We are now grinding below this trend, and the next trend is the orange one that aligns perfectly with the 1.618. So all I'm trying to highlight here, legends, is that we still have an untapped trend that has not been claimed. Okay, so we might not even fall as far as $68,000, which is the target that most people are expecting. $68,000. Okay, right over there. It's basically the 2.618, and it's the red trend that I have over here. But we might still bounce over here. Break the trend, create an impulse, and continue. Okay, so definitely some areas to the downside to pay attention to. Also, together with the 1.618 here to the downside, if I zoom into this little structure and I switch on my weekly levels, my daily levels, my point of controls. Okay, there's a lot going on here. Okay, let me just zoom in so we can see what is going on here. Below this low, okay, we have the 1.618 in perfect confluence with a naked point of control, untapped. We have a weekly point of control, untapped, and we have 2 more naked point of controls. So it is very strong support in this zone by merely claiming the liquidity below this low. It is also an A, B, C extended target. You also have diagonal resistance or support. You have diagonal support, horizontal support, and Fibonacci support here to the downside. So it is still a zone to pay attention to. Okay. Okay, legends. So, I mean, for the bulls, you know the levels that needs to hold. For the bulls, for the structure to remain bullish, this is where you want to find support from a maximum perspective. $79,000 to 100. Okay. For the bears, you might just tap this level and then create another 5-wave impulsive structure to the upside, and we continue the bull market back to the upside. There's definitely a chance. Okay, now let me discuss the most bearish case scenario. This is the most bearish case scenario that I have at the moment. So let me clean up the chart. Let me take this out. The most bearish case scenario that I have here at the moment is the following. This structure to the downside is an impulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's an impulsive structure. This little thing here to the upside is a corrective structure. Let me do this. Where was it? A, B, C. Okay, let me go here onto the 1 hour time frame so we can just see the structure properly. So we are basically building impulses back to the downside. Okay, this is the most bearish case scenario. And now you're going to see where this puppy is going to end up at. Okay, this was your A, this was your B, and now the final C here to the upside. Okay, so all of this is now basically forming a 1, this was 2, and now we're going down for a 3, 4, 5. Okay, and this, ladies and gentlemen, what is forming over here is your first wave inside of your third wave. Okay, so I can also go and measure out some targets, right? So you basically take a trend-based fib from the high to the low to the high. Ooh, and that's basically the same, but now you expect your third wave to bounce on the trend. Have a nice little sideways corrective fourth wave, and then have a fifth wave to the downside. But what makes this scenario so scary is the 1.618 that I highlighted over here for the third wave does not have to be the target for the third wave. Because the third wave, if this is a third wave and not a C wave to the downside, because this is now 1, 2, 3, not an ABC. Okay, third waves can go to the 2, they can go to the 2.618, they can go to the 3.618. They don't have a specific target. They just love 618 targets. It can even go to the 4618, the 5618, the 7618. Okay, this target over here, the 1.618, is regarded as usually the minimum preferred common target for your third wave. But this can really fall here to the downside and create a 5-wave structure. And usually when you see a 5-wave structure to the downside, you often get a 3-wave corrective structure and continuation to the downside. So this is not going to look pretty for the bulls. Okay, not pretty at all. Right, legends. Not looking good here at the moment, right? If this bearish case scenario had to play out. For the moment, I'm still giving the bulls, okay, the structure has, the structure has not been invalidated. So I'm still giving the bulls the benefit of the doubt to say that, well, it's only over until it's over. This structure, the low has still not been claimed. The low is still intact and it's not over until it's over. There's 5 waves to the upside. Done. This can all still be part of a corrective structure for this impulse. And only once you take this low is the structure invalidated. Until then, price can still bounce, make a higher low, and continue momentum to the upside. Okay. Remember to smash up that like button for the education and the alpha over here, legends. Now what I want to do is I want to go here onto the 15-minute time frame. I want to talk about what happened yesterday, okay, after the live stream. We had our weekly levels here to the upside, and then I'll go, maybe let me go through some comments as well. And then I want to talk about what happened here yesterday, because every single trade that I highlighted here yesterday played out well. We were basically, before I go through the comments, let me just quickly discuss this one. I told everyone, and I saw everyone in the comments also say, Dewald, we entered a short right over here. Beautiful. I ended off the live stream by saying, legends, you might find support at the weekly level. Price might fall down, find support, and bounce, which it did. Please pay yourself when you get to this level. I hope you guys did pay yourself, because I took a majority of my profits there. I left some of the position open and got stopped out. Okay, so let's go here onto the 5-minute time frame. Right. I think if you go into the 1-minute time frame, we actually tapped this level first before we shot up. Okay. We got rejected. This is where I entered my short. My position was protected. We fell here to the downside. Right, we had this fast week to the downside and we shot up, and this is where I took profits. I had a limit order set over there. I wasn't going to take any chances. Right, just now it happened so fast that you can't catch it, so I had a limit order there, took majority of the profits, and then I got stopped out at break even. It must, it has to be said that this short at the weekly point of control was not easy because of how long this week was. Okay, it's not really a great trade for me from a risk to reward perspective. So you see the weakness, price is trading below. You're supposed to enter over here with your stop above the high, but then you're also like, well, what if it bounces again on support and continues? Now it's a big loss that I'm going to take over here. So I stayed out of this trade. I did not take the short. I took the short here, took profits over there. That's it, right? I did not place this short because of the news. Was very volatile here to the upside. Not an easy short to take back to the downside. Okay, now we can go and analyze this structure in a little bit more detail, but let me go through some comments. Wave 2 way shorter than 4 though. Wave 2 way shorter than wave 2. Wahab, I'm not sure which wave you are referring to. Okay. Was it this one here on the 1 hour that I was talking about? Okay. 1, 2. Is it that one? Let's see over here. So let's just clean it up quickly. Let's go check if it balances from a timing perspective. So if this is 1, it's fine. This high was made after the minimum requirement. So if this is a 1 and this is a 2 and this is going to form a 3, 4, 5, the high was made after the minimum requirement. So as long as the high or the low is made after the 0.382, it's fine. Okay. If this high, you're quite correct, was made, yeah, I would have said, okay, it's a problem. It's most likely part of a corrective structure and not an impulsive structure. Okay, but it does meet the minimum requirement. That high was made after the 0.382. So it's valid for a second wave. Definitely valid. Like we say in Belgium, Capu. Dewald, do you still hold your altcoin bag? I do, George. I still have my altcoin bag. And right, what happened to my Video feed. Legends, just give me a second. Let me just fix my camera over here quickly. Let me do this quickly. Right, there we go. My camera just switched off by itself for some reason. Now it's back on. Okay. George, do you still hold your altcoin bag? Yes, I do. Some of those altcoins are deep underwater at the moment. I have added to some of them ever so slightly. But yes, it's not a fun exercise opening your altcoin portfolio at the moment. Right, please explain how and when should we enter the last short. Okay, I will get into the scenarios here at the moment where I'm looking for shorts. Okay, I was able to fast scalp long from that level you said might bounce. Absolute amazing. Absolute amazing. Right, everything is dumping. Yes, everything is dumping. No, the first leg down. Wave 1 has to be 5 waves. Wave 1 has to be 5 waves. Yes, I can count 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so you're basically saying this 2 is too short, but it can be a diagonal. That's the problemo. It could be a leading diagonal. Okay, where you have formed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very short corrective structure, I agree. So it looks to me more like a ABC. Okay, and I'm just saying, it's the most bearish case scenarios. It doesn't carry the highest probability, but it's not invalidated, because you have to remember time is never an invalidation. It just lowers the probabilities, because I have seen second waves finish before the 382. I have seen many structures finish before minimum timing requirements, but time is never in invalidation. It just impacts the probabilities. So unfortunately, this structure can be counted as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's not pretty, but it can. Okay, so the bearish case scenario, to your point, if this is going to form a 1, 2, and an impulse to the downside, for me carries low probability. Okay, the scenario for me that carries at the moment, I just wish we took this high. I really just wish we took this high. Okay, even if we just claimed it by $1, it would have been amazing. Okay, even if we claimed it by $1, because it would have invalidated some scenarios, some very bearish scenarios. I would say, looking at the structure for now, the scenario that carries the highest probability is at least claiming this low. Okay, we'll take it level by level. So this could be an A, B. Okay, forget about this structure. Just looking at this could be an A, B, and this is forming a aggressive C wave to the downside that bounces. Right, but it claims the liquidity below this low. So for me, this scenario carries the highest probability at the moment. Then second highest probability is for this to be a WXY or a ABC that basically claims this low. Over here, price finds support and it bounces. Okay, but based on new price action, obviously that will impact the probabilities of each scenario. But I can tell you guys now, if we claimed this high, that would have invalidated some other bearish case scenarios on the higher time frame as well. I'm not going to go through all of those scenarios now. The contracting diagonal here to the downside, the WXY, I have them all here in folders. It's just going to take too long to go through everything at the moment. So for now, what I want to do is just focus on this local structure to see, well, where can we potentially enter shorts and longs, just, making our profits here to the up and to the downside. Right. In bearish scenario, you said impulse 5 wave down, can wave 2 touch 0.88 of wave 1. Yes, remember, okay, this is what I'm saying. It's another reason. 2000, Mr. 2004, it's another reason why the impulse to the downside carries lower probability. Also, okay, like, I can't remember all the names, but like Wahab has mentioned, this is a very shallow wave 2. I agree, it is shallow, but it's unfortunately not an invalidation. It lowers the probabilities. So you have now this probability that's been lowered for a wave 2 over there. And also you have a probability when you take a fib from the high to the low. For this to be a wave 2 is also a low probability because of how deep the retracement went. But it's not an invalidation. It just impacts probabilities. Okay, and sometimes the low probability scenario ends up playing out. So all I'm trying to say is you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have a 3-wave corrective structure. So this already is a low probability for wave 2. This already for wave 2 to be so short in time and so tiny is also a small prop. So you now have two things wrong with this structure, but it still doesn't invalidate it. Okay, if this high took the high even by $1, then I would have said no impulse to the downside. Okay, no impulse to the downside. So I have to, until invalidated, still highlight this scenario to everyone. It can still create impulses to the downside, although I believe that it carries low probability. Well, believe is actually a stupid word to use. I don't believe it carries low probability. Technically, according to the Elliot wave rules, it carries low probability. So it's facts, okay, at the end of the day. Based on this and the retracement, to form impulses to the downside carries low probability, but it has not been invalidated. Okay, so for me, a scenario that carries higher probability is to say that, well, if I take a fib from the high to the low, okay, take this one out the way. Now, this to me carries way higher probability. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That balances perfectly. You have now an A, B, and this is forming a C to the downside that could potentially bounce. So this is all still part of a corrective structure for this impulse. This for me still carries higher probability because it has less mistakes inside of it. Okay, and also when you take a time fib here from the low to the high, okay, this corrective structure from here, when the corrective structure started, all of this, okay, can go to the 1, 2 extension, and it can even go to the 2 extension and the 3 extension. Once it starts hitting the 4, then it starts for me getting invalidated. Okay, I mean, this corrective structure can really screw us around, and it can do this until it finds upwards or downwards momentum. Okay, but it can go all the way to the 3. Usually when it taps the 4, I'm like, okay, no, this is something else. Maybe it's a B wave or a complex double combo WX, Y, X, Z or something else. Okay, but usually anything after the 0.382 to the 2 extension, that green line over there, basically this line, anything in here is still valid and perfectly normal that I see all the time play out. You have an impulse, you have a corrective structure, and then it finds upwards momentum. So this scenario still carries the highest probability at the moment until the low is taken. But then I have highlighted the 1.618 there to the downside. Okay. Because, I mean, there's so many scenarios. Okay. This is just the contracting diagonal here to the upside. Let me take the comment here out the way. There is, let me see if I still have all of these folders here. Yeah, that's the one that we've just discussed. Okay. We still have this. Right. I just want to see if where is my, you see now this one, I just want to check this scenario here. Let me just switch off the trends. Okay, this is one that I've been tracking here on the 4-hour time frame. I just want to see how it's playing out so far. So basically a larger WXY. Okay, is there still a chance for this Y wave here to the downside? Let's see. Let's zoom into this structure. Yes, there is a chance. So if you are forming, okay, there's a chance. There's a chance. Okay, if you are forming an A, B, C, D, E, which is now finished over there, you could now start forming impulses from this structure. You ignore all of this. Okay, because this is then a WXY or an ABC. Okay, this is a C. I can go and count that in a second. Okay, I know that there's a count for this structure where this is not an impulse and this is not a corrective structure. But now what you need to form from this little tippy top over there is a fresh new structure for your Y wave. Okay, so although this invalidates the impulse, okay, you now need to start a fresh structure from over here. So this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or it can be a zigzag to the downside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a 5, 3, 5, a 3-wave corrective structure in Y wave. So there's still a chance that you can go down, still a chance. But now this is forming from this little pivot over here. Ignore all of this. From this little pivot, you're now starting to form 3-wave structures or 5-wave structures to the downside, preferably a 5, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A 5, 3, 5, which is a lightning bolt, which is a WXY, which is a ABC. Doesn't matter. ABC fits better inside of a normal zigzag, fits better inside of a Y wave. Okay, so which basically then says that all of this here on the Y wave, all of this from this pivot is a fresh new structure. You ignore everything to the right or to the left. Okay, so this could be your first initial wave to the downside. Now you're going up for a 3-wave corrector structure and a 2, then you go down for a 3, 4, 5, ABC, and you create another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to go and complete your Y wave. Okay, so all the rules that invalidates this 1, 2 can be ignored because you're counting a fresh structure from this pivot. So you guys can see it's not easy, right? It's not easy. I can spend hours here on Elliot wave theory and go through all the scenarios, and I have a lot of scenarios over here. I'm not going to have time to go through all the scenarios, and but I guess the most important thing for me is, regardless of which scenario we are in, can I execute successful trades, right? So this is the structure that I'm interested in for now. Inside of this momentum here to the upside, there's been many successful trades. I played along over here and I took profits over here. Beautiful trade here to the upside. On my week's account, I also played the momentum here and I took profits over there. It was 2 long trades, successful long trades that I took over here. Then here, when I saw the breakout over there, okay, I waited for the 3-wave corrective structure. There was a breakout and I entered over here. I closed my position. I took most of my profits over here and I closed my position over here. So 1, 2, 3 long trades with this structure. And there was also a couple of short trades. Okay, I entered. Let me just take that out the way. Right, as you all remember, if I just go and backtrack, so I don't, at the end of the day, I actually don't care in which structure we are. It's very interesting from a macro perspective. If you take your fib from the high to the low, the first trades that I played was from this pivot over here. Okay, this is where I closed one of my long trades. I told everyone I'm going to close my long trade at the 50% Fibonacci. This is where I'm going to short. Remember, when you hit support, you need to take profits. I played a short. I took profits over here. Okay, beautiful short. Okay, This short, unfortunately, I did not take because I was sleeping. But I told everyone this is the short that I'm waiting for. This little pivot, okay? You break above, you close below, you enter with your stop above the high, and you take profits when you hit support. Okay, so there was another trade, but I didn't play this one. But I did play that one. Okay, and for some reason, I highlighted it yesterday in my live stream as well. For some reason, I got a lot of hate for that short. I don't know why. Okay, but it played out. I just looked for the price reaction. Price was pumping there to the upside, and people sent me comments to say that, how on earth are you looking for a short? Price is going to break out. And I was like, well, if I see the price action that I like, I'm going to enter the short. And there was a 1.618 level here as well. Price fell down below. I entered with my stop above the high. And when we hit support, I took profits. Then I played a long over here, and then also I played a short over here, and I took profits over here. Last night, I played a short. So in this upwards momentum, there was 3 longs and 2 shorts that I took. Not bad day trading for this little local structure. Not bad. 6 trades, not bad. And every trade was a winning trade. Okay, right, legends. Now, remember to smash up that like button. People hate the game, not the players. Yes, yes. Hello, a little bit late. Welcome. Sorry, everyone. On behalf of all non-mega decent Americans, I apologize for this orange man wrecking everyone. I don't know what Trump is on, but you know, Trump is Trump at the end of the day. I think he's a cool guy. You know, would I elect him? I don't want to get into politics, right? I don't at all want to get into politics. I think Trump is a good business person. That's it. I will just leave it at that. Right, sorry. Soul is broken. Yes, can you show where we are at the halving? Well, Scorn, that's a very interesting picture. I will bring that up in a moment. Let me just flag your comment so I don't forget. Okay, haha, you answered my question before reading it. Nice, thanks. Right, we are in the macro bear market now. Yes, you know, everyone's calling for the bear market at the moment. And I think Scorn has asked a very interesting question. Okay, a very, very interesting question. So if I go and let's look at BTC dominance, just quickly want to highlight BTC dominance. I mean, this is the zone where you want to see the rejection. Can it reject? I don't know. It looks bullish as hell at the moment. But I mean, that 50% Fibonacci where I shorted a couple of days ago also looked bullish as hell. And then it got a massive rejection to the downside. Okay, so definitely a zone where it could reject. But now to your question, let's open up the BLX chart over here. Let's go to the weekly. Let's put it on lock scale. Okay, let's see where we are. Let's just quickly, it's not going to take long at all. 4-year cycles, halving cycles. Let's just switch on everything over here. And this is where we are. Okay, so according to this model, the bull market is not done. And this model has never been invalidated to date. Okay, so it's kind of 50-50. Everyone's calling for the bear market. Okay, everyone called for the bear market over there. I remember. Everyone actually called for $100,000 over here. Okay, that was extremely bullish, right? But anyways, guys, you have the halvings. The orange thick lines here are the halving cycles. Okay, halving. Okay, this is the halving cycles. You typically have a 1.5 bull cycle before the halving and a 1.5 after the halving. And then you have a 12 to 13 month bear cycle every single time. Okay, 3 years, 1 year. 3 years, 1 year. And now we are almost at the end. We are still a couple of months, okay? According to this model, the bear market is supposed to come, the bull market is supposed to come to an end at the end of October. So if this model is not going to invalidate itself, this is potentially just a healthy pullback and continuation here to the upside, where we will then go into a bear market. Okay. So far, the model, so basically what I'm telling everyone over here is this is data, proven data that we have in front of us. Okay. And I remember during every bull cycle and during every bear cycle that I have been a part of so far, every single time, everyone has said, this time is going to be different. I remember when we were over here, okay, with the FTX collapse at $15,000, everyone was calling for $10,000. But this was the bottom. It respected the bear market time frame. That was the bottom. So if you played this purely from a timing perspective, you would have catched the bull market all the way here to the upside. Purely from this model's perspective. Okay, that was the bottom. But, you know, very strange. Here, everyone was calling for $9,000. Here, everyone was calling for $100,000. Yeah, and this is what's so strange to me. Yeah, everyone is calling for the bear market. And this is what and this is what gives me the fuel to believe that we are still going higher, because I don't believe for 1 second that everyone has called the bear market to perfection, because we have not had an euphoric stage. And usually when you go into euphoria, that is when you reach the top and people call for higher levels, which doesn't come. We are here and people are saying we're going into a bear market. So for the first time in history, do you want to tell me that everyone has called the top to perfection? Doesn't make sense to me. Okay, I want price to go up. And then when we are here at $200,000, for example, let's just say we hit the top of this box over here and we are at $200,000. And when people are then saying, oh, we're going to get $500,000, when people believe that the top is not in, that is where you go into the bear market. It's just very strange that everyone has successfully called the top this time around. Okay, very strange to me. Anyways, we still have from now, where we are right now, up until the end 27th of October for the bull market to continue. And this could potentially be a healthy pullback where you find support above the highs and then we continue here to the upside. Right? The model has not been invalidated since the inception of Bitcoin. So everyone calling for a bear market at the moment are basically saying that this entire model has now been invalidated, like they did over here. Everyone, when we were here, called for $100,000 and said this time is going to be different. We're going to invalidate the model. We fell down. And then when we got here, from a timing perspective, everyone called for $9,000 and we went up. And now that we are here, everyone is saying that we are now in a bear market. We're going down. I don't know. I need to believe the data in front of me. And until this model is invalidated, it's still valid. Okay. Right, so legends, very interesting conversation over there, right? So the first longing opportunity as price is dumping here to the downside that I just quickly want to highlight is an SFP from the low. So pure technical analysis is if I switch on my point of controls, my weekly levels, you know, just put on everything over here. Let's even take a fib here from the low to the high. Okay, definitely, we front run that level. Okay, definitely a bouncing zone. If I see this, if I see price dip below and get acceptance back above, I will definitely play along. But I can tell you guys, as soon as you start hitting resistance, I will take profits. Okay. Often what happens is you tap the 0.88, you go back to the 0.618, you start hitting resistance, and then you fall down. You claim the low. Right, so I want to take advantage of this little long trade if it does claim the bottom and gets acceptance back above. Then from a shorting perspective, just in summary over here quickly, is you take a fib from the high to the low. Okay, and obviously if price falls down here, I will drag the fib down, but this is now the confluence that we have. If price finds support from where it is now, let's say it finds support here and it starts gaining momentum here to the upside, we have a 0.382 together with a naked point of control. You have a consolidation area and resistance. So, you know, it's a good place to look for a short. A little bit further up, you have the 0.5 together with the daily level. And if price is going to get really punchy to the upside, okay, because remember, if on that WXY structure, if this is the start of a fresh impulse, you could form your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here to the downside. Okay, and your second wave loves to bounce between the 382 and the 786. So this is all a nice little rejection zone. But I'm not going to add to my position. I have my stop loss here. Okay, this is not how I'm going to trade. Add, and then price shoots out and I am deep underwater and I liquidate my entire account or half of my account. I will take a trading shot at each level because I could potentially enter if price had to come up here and it does this and I enter with my stop above the high. Price moves in my favor, I protect my position and I get stopped out. It moves to the next area, it does the same thing and I get stopped out and it does exactly the same thing and maybe then it decides to roll over. I can be stopped out twice without losing any capital at break even and eventually catch the move to the downside. That is the power of swing failure patterns and protecting your position. Well, you need to know when to protect your position. If you protect it too soon, you could get stopped out and then price leaves without you in any event. Ooh, right. And remember, legends, down in the description is where I bring you the best deals from the exchanges. We've got weeks with that 50% cash back to trade within your features account, depending on how much money you deposit, 25% discount on your trading fees, and they also have the competition that's running here at the moment, of which I'm participating. Okay, bluffing, the more you trade, the more opportunities you get to spin the wheel. You just wait, right, here we go. You can win some Doge. And did I do some technical analysis on Doge yesterday? I did. Go check out yesterday's live stream. Doge still looks incredibly bullish. There's a lot that needs to happen to invalidate Doge's bullish structure. And this is why I asked the team to put some Doge here in the wheel for me. Okay, I know that you're going to benefit from some Doge in your portfolio. Trust me. Right, but you can also win a MacBook Pro, AirPods, and there's only one thing where you can get unlucky. Every time you move $10,000 worth of trading volume, you get a chance to spin the wheel. You also get 10% cash back on the money that you deposit in your features account. Right, and then I also have Phoenix, up to $2,000 position airdrop that you can choose to play with. Right, and all three of these exchanges, you don't have to give any documents if you don't want to, and you can start leverage trading. Right, I do have Bybit and Mexi, but it seems that people don't want to verify themselves, so it's very seldom that I talk about these two exchanges, but I do still trade. I trade on all of these exchanges because I like to diversify my portfolio, and I also use different accounts for different things. Okay, and maybe during some of my next live streams, I'll explain to people how I trade my portfolios. Some of my portfolios are play money, where I just throw money in there and see how quickly I can double or triple it. And often I burn those accounts. And then some portfolios are grocery money, or I want a new pair of tackies or sneakers, or I want a new iPhone, like I got myself. Okay, where I got myself a new iPhone by throwing money into an account and trading for it. Right, so legends, I think price is dropping here to the downside, so the first long opportunity is to see how price is going to react over here, because this could also be a very shallow 1-2. Okay, and this is now starting to build the third wave here to the downside, or it's just gonna SFB here. But I mean, we still have a daily level and a weekly level below these lows that has not been tapped. Okay, right. Also, when you take a trend-based FIP from the high to the low to the high, okay, I'm starting to lose my voice. I might have to end the stream soon, legends. Okay, you have the 1-to-1 extension. So if this is an A, B, and this is a C wave here to the downside, you have the 1-to-1 extension. Okay, I do like the 1.236 more, gives it a little bit of more room. It's the 786 from when you take a Fibonacci from the lows that we've made to the high of the structure is also the 786. This is the golden pocket, right? So there's a chance if we don't get the bounce over here and we fall down, okay, as long as price is below my area of interest, I'm not interested in a long, then I look at this zone over here. Dewald, I have one doubt till when strategies stop working. I saw your question, Garisha, in terms of you asked the question to say that, well, if I'm teaching a strategy and a lot of people start using the strategy, does it become ineffective? I do use different strategies depending on the structure that I see in front of me. Okay, and I'll just give one quick example. Is this little structure had beautiful D-line breakouts. Beautiful. Okay, and what I mean by D-line breakouts is it just breaks trend beautifully every single time. It breaks trend. It breaks trend. And every single time it claims the high. It claims the high. And often when I see this and I see this at the first breakout, then I know, okay, and if I can get my stop loss very tight, okay, I start using my D-line strategy. But I also used my swing failure strategy here from the 50%. So I sometimes combine different strategies depending on the structure that I see in front of me. What I've also noticed about the bigger structure here, the one thing, you know, you have to adapt very quickly to what the market is offering you. Because often I found that if you only know one strategy, you will often find yourself in a situation where you are on a losing streak. The structure doesn't make sense, but you feel that you have to trade to pay the bills at the end of the month. So you're basically forcing trades in a structure that doesn't make sense to you. And often the market will give you a structure where your trading strategy is not suitable. And you're supposed to stay out of the market during those times. And this is why I've developed multiple trading strategies. So depending on what the structure shows me, I will implement a different trading strategy. During this entire structure over here, the one thing I have noticed is that the trend-based fib extensions worked exceptionally well, especially the 786 level. And it's the 786 levels that I started shorting, okay, during this entire structure here to the upside, where I made some nice money. Anyways, in this little mini structure, it was the D-line strategy and Fibonacci levels. So, right, it's just the best way that I can answer that question. Can someone ask this question because my comments are not visible to Dewald? What could be the next low for ETH? The next low for ETH, let's go here onto the daily time frame. If ETH, okay, to answer your question, has to find more momentum to the downside, this is where I see ETH finding support. Okay, let's give it a zone. I need to give it a zone. So from $1,600 to $1,400. This is the zone where technically I think ETH is going to find support. Not because I wanted to or I feel like it. Technically, that is a good zone. Okay. And I can briefly explain it to you over here. You have an A, okay, three-wave structure in an A, you have a three-wave structure in a B, and you have a five-wave structure in a C, which is not yet complete. This little target over here, the 1.236, is a C-wave target. A little bit further down, okay, we also have a Y-wave target at the 0.618 at $1,400. So this zone is the end of the C and it's also the end of a WXY. Well, it's not necessarily the end of the Y, but it's a common target for a Y. Let me put it that way. Okay, so this is where I think ETH is going to find some support if it continues momentum here to the downside. Right, between $1,500 and $1,400. Okay, there's actually a bullish case scenario that I forgot to discuss here yesterday as well, legends, because I was only looking at this WXY. But if I take this out the window and I discuss the bullish case scenario, it comes down to exactly the same thing. Okay, this can get crazy here to the upside. You have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a wave 1. You have a 3-wave corrective structure in a wave 2. But you can see this even it aligns with the WXY as well. Okay. And then we're going to start building up a third wave or a first wave. Because if this, I must be honest, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, very ugly. It's very ugly. It's not a pretty structure. Okay, it feels like I had to force the count, and I don't like to force counts. But if I have to force a count and we do get an explosive third wave here to the upside, at least we knew about it. There's a couple of things wrong with the structure. The highest probable scenario for me is the WXY that I discussed yesterday, where this is all still part of a corrective structure. W, you have an ABC and W, you have a ABC and a W, X, Y inside of your bigger X wave. So you basically have a WXY inside of X. And now we have formed another ABC and to finish off the Y, where this is a really good zone to see a bounce on ETH and finally get some upwards momentum to come and claim the high and maybe even go and tap $10,000, $7,000. That's round about the zone that I'm looking at for profit taking. Okay, right. Thank you. Absolute pleasure, man. Dewald, my huge alts bags is 60% down. My brain says sell and skip the fall, but it seems wrong. I need to buy instead. Am I right? Moody Motion, unfortunately, I cannot give you financial advice. All I can tell you is what I am doing, okay? You need to do your own research. You are in control of your own finances. I am not selling, okay? I trust data to make decisions. Data is telling me that at some point, maybe in the next week or in the next month, we are going to see at least a relief rally. At least a relief rally, okay? So I am not cashing out just as yet. I'm still holding on strong. And some people call me crazy for doing that, but it's always worked for me, okay? It really has always worked for me. When there's so much fear in the market like there is at the moment, for me, that's usually where I start buying again. Believe it or not, I am actually buying at the moment. I'm buying some ETH at the moment, even where we are right now. Yes, there's a high chance that ETH is going to come here, but I'm already buying here because I'm aware of front runnings that can happen. So I'm already buying, okay? I'm going to be buying a little bit more aggressive inside of here. Right, so for me, it's not the time to sell. There's too much fear in the market for me to sell. I cannot sell when there's fear in the market. If there was greed in the market and you asked me the exact same question, should I be selling? I would have said yes. It's a good time to sell when there's greed in the market. But usually when there's fear in the market, it's a good time to buy. Purely from a psychology perspective, you need to buy when it feels really uncomfortable to buy, when there's specifically fear related, okay? Everyone's calling for a bear market. Everyone believes the top is in. Everyone believes Bitcoin is just going to go back to $10,000, right? Everyone believes the top is in, and everyone believes there's not going to be an altcoin season. So these are fear indicators to me that tell me that I need to start deploying cash. I could be wrong, but it's the risk that I'm willing to take on my portfolio. Hope that has helped you in some way, Moody. Right, legends. My voice is losing steam here, like Bitcoin is losing steam here at the moment. So I am going to call it a day for today. I have highlighted all the levels, and I hope you have found some value. Smash up that like button on your way out. Remember, the exchanges that I use to do my trading is down in the description, where it costs you nothing extra. You just benefit by signing up with these links, from trading fees to sign up bonuses and competitions, etc. Legends, have yourselves an amazing Thursday. And hopefully, if my voice is still here by tomorrow, I will see you in the next one. Cheers for now.